بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبعد. أمسينا وأمسى الملك لله رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك خير هذه الليلة، فتحها ونصرها ونورها وبركتها وهداها، ونعوذ بك من شرها وشر ما فيها وشر ما بعدها. يا رب لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا وتواضعا يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. So we have a few questions. We start inshallah with the first one. One friend entrusted me with a secret. Second friend assumed that I know the secret. Second friend is asking me if I know. Can I lie and say I don't know? This is the problem of written questions because we need more details. Does the second friend know about the secret? He knows the secret or not? That is number one. If he doesn't know the secret, you should not tell him, but you don't have to lie. When he asked you, please, can I be excused from this? Or try to divert the question. If he knows about the secret, khalas, it doesn't become a secret, but still, you should not tell him. And people, they should not ask this kind of questions. They are un-Islamic questions. Like sometimes, when you invite somebody and he said, no, thank you, especially on Monday and Thursday, then you ask him or her, are you fasting? That's a wrong question because now the person, he doesn't want anybody to know whether he is fasting or not. Now you put them on spot. But as I said, a secret, you should be, and I hope the first one who told you the secret, he considered it a secret. So I give the two scenarios, but in both cases you should not tell if it's a secret, and you can tell the person, please, can I be excused, or divert the dialogue, inshallah. Here is a dua for a brother that his uncle Al-Hajj Bouzidi passed away in Algeria. Allahumma ghfir lahu warhamhu wa akrim nuzulahu wa wassa' mudkhalahu. واغسله بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقه من الذنوب والخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس. اللهم ابدله دارا خير من داره وأهلا خير من أهله. اللهم إن كان محسنا فزد في إحسانه وإن كان مسيئا فتجاوز عن سيئاته. اللهم اجعل قبره روضة من رياض الجنة. اللهم ارحمه وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وذكرنا وأنثانا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا. اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيي على الإيمان ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإسلام. اللهم ارزق أهله الصبر والسلوان. اللهم ارزق أهله الصبر والسلوان. اللهم لا تفتنا بعده ولا تحرمنا أجره واغفر لنا وله يا رب العالمين. وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد. The other question, is it okay to take the COVID vaccine if it has any association with fatal embryo cells derived from abortions? This is a big rumor, but if it were true, is it okay? For me, I don't believe in theory conspiracy. I believe in conspiracy. This world is full of conspiracy, but there is a huge difference between conspiracy and theory conspiracy or conspiracy theory. It's a huge difference. So, unless you are sure 100% or 90% that this vaccine carries some harm, then you should not do it. But now I think there are laws coming that they're going to put some laws that you're going to do it. They will tell you you cannot fly, you cannot enter this building, you cannot do that, you cannot do that. Personally, I will take it. I have no problem with that. I will take it. And just the answer that I answered last time, I want to remind you, my brothers and sisters, if you don't want to take it, that's your choice. It's fine. But please, Do not tell others not to take it and so on, because somebody might listen to you. If something happened to them, they die, they get sick or something, you are responsible. You need to be careful, because the rule, you cannot go with the exception. Always you follow the rule. The rule that the vaccine is safe. And unless there is valid proof beyond reasonable doubt. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us, because what is worse than the COVID is the anxiety and the paranoia.
Question, I think they want to know if the vaccine is made from some fluid from an abortion fetus.
Right, that's what I was saying.
The part they want to probably was like the abortion part.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It has any kind of harm, or maybe made out of pork or whatever and so on. These things, you know, the opinion that goes through the transformation, anything that goes through a chemical process and so on, the original of it, the nature of it, it doesn't stay. So, and I don't think so, as I said, as the question said itself, this is a big rumor. And now we want fact. And inshallah, as I said, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take this away from us. But as I said, please, this is a very serious matter. And subhanallah, even people that I was talking to them a few months ago, they swear by Allah, they will not take it. And now they said, well, I think I'm going to take it. Because that is health. And your health is a big responsibility, and you are entrusted with it. Modern narrative is to break ties with negative people, not relatives, who insult or dislike you and create stress. What is the Islamic perspective on this? The Prophet ﷺ, and I'm just going to quote this hadith, he said, "La darara wa la dirar." Don't harm others and don't let others harm you. Whether this harm is physical or moral or psychological harm. So people that they are negative, and what I mean negative, really they become really having an impact on you. Otherwise, everybody once in a while they have bad days. But if somebody really constant and you've been affected, even if they are relatives, here you should distance yourself from them. But when you meet them, you say, Salamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. If there is something happen to them, you can help them. But you can distance yourself from them, as I said, and not to be with them if it's impacting you. And why they are negative? As I said, if they are sick or something, maybe they need your help if you can. Because there are a lot of people, they cannot help somebody who is sick, especially psychologically. But if you can and you are strong, mashallah, and this and that, you need to help them. So I'm just giving general answers. If there is any specific, please, you can contact me. I will ask more questions. Yesterday I had the question, very lengthy question on the email. And I answered, but when I talked to the person and I asked the question, the fatwa changed. Because one word can make the answer different. Have rak'ah sunnah salah at home before going to Jumu'ah. There is no sunnah before Jumu'ah. There is no recommended sunnah before Jumu'ah. There is open prayer. You can pray whatever you want. Call it nafil or voluntary prayer. But there is no recommended. Like Dhuhr, we have 4 before it or 2. Jumu'ah, there is nothing. If khutbah started, should we pray Tahiyyatul Masjid? Somebody come into the Friday and the khutbah started. And number one, if we are praying outside, there is no Tahiyyatul Masjid, because this is not a masjid. Playground is not masjid. You don't pray Tahiyyatul Masjid. MCC outside in the open area is not a masjid. So there is no Tahiyyatul Masjid. You just go and sit down. And but if you are coming to the masjid here, like here, and the imam is starting the khutbah, yeah, you pray Tahiyyatul Masjid, but pray it in the back. Don't come to the front and you start praying in front of the imam. No. Pray in the back and make it fast and don't sit without praying. And also, I might add to this, sometimes in the masjid, some people enter the masjid while the adhan is being given for the Friday khutbah. And some people wait for the adhan because they repeat with the muaddin, which is, that is the sunnah, except in Friday. In Friday, repeating with the muaddin is a sunnah. Listening to the khutbah is fard. So while the muaddin is giving the adhan, you pray tahiyat al-masjid fast because you need to listen to the khutbah. How many rak'ah after Jumu'ah at masjid and returning home? If you pray sunnah, there is sunnah of Jumu'ah after. If you pray it in the masjid, is 4 rak'ah. If you pray it at home, is 2 rak'ah. And the scholars, they say the wisdom behind this difference, because if you pray 2 in the masjid, some people who don't know their deen, they might take Jumu'ah as 4 rak'ah. So when you pray 4 plus the 2 of Jumu'ah, it becomes 6. So you pray 4 if you pray the sunnah in the masjid, or if you wait till you go home, you pray 2. And always the rule that the sunnah should be prayed home. Unless the brothers who are working after Jumu'ah, they cannot go home, they will pray here, inshallah. While praying salat, if I happen to pass wind, what course of action should be taken? When you pass wind, mean that your wudu is broken. So you need to stop, you say salam, and you leave and you make wudu. If you are imam in the masjid, you leave, you break the salah. Don't say, well, I will be there. So no, you break the salah and somebody will take over from the first row, and you go and you make wudu and you come back and you join the jama'ah. And if the jama'ah they are in the 4th rak'ah or 3rd rak'ah, that will be your first rak'ah. And if you are by yourself, you go and you make wudu and you start the prayer from the beginning. Are there any medical procedures that should be avoided at all costs? I don't know of anything except when a woman, she is sick, and there is she can find a female doctor, but there is only one male doctor and she didn't ask. No, in this case should be avoided, or vice versa. But if there is no other female doctor, then here it becomes a necessity. Otherwise, I hope I understand the question. There is nothing that can be avoided, because you need to treat yourself. Unless there is something haram, a procedure that is haram, and we have the alternatives. But even the procedure, if it may contain something haram, but there is no other way, you can take it. Of course, there is debate between the scholar taking treatment, is it fard or no? There is a debate, and both of them are authentic. Because there are some people, they didn't take medicine because their tawakkul on Allah, their trust on Allah is very strong. And there are some people takes the medicine. And nobody should. And this is what we're talking about you. Don't give this fatwa for somebody else. Somebody else who wants to take medicine and you tell them, no, you should have tawakkul. No, don't do that. That is for you. If you don't want to take the medicine, that's fine. 10 years old is memorizing Juz 27, mashallah. And is having a hard time with keeping what she memorized into 28 Juz. Any tips for children who are memorizing on retaining? And number one, you make dua for them. And number two, do not pressure them. And number three, they should just keep, inshallah, memorizing. And it will come back. Once you memorize it, especially when you are young, you will not lose it. But just practice, inshallah. And may Allah bless this child, mashallah. May Allah make him or her a person of the Quran and hafidh, inshallah. On marital dispute from an hadith reported by Ahmed and others, pray Fajr as soon as you wake up. Can you please elaborate on this point? Jazakallah khair. Wajazakum. Of course, this hadith, it's a long hadith of a woman that she came to complain to the Prophet ﷺ about her husband. And she has 3 grievances. And number 1, that when she prays, her husband discipline her. And number 2, her husband, if she fasts, he doesn't let her fast. And number 3, he doesn't wake up for Fajr. And this hadith, mashallah, it needs khutbah or lecture by itself. How we learn from the hadith. Imagine this woman came to you. Immediately you're going to pass judgment on that husband. And what he is doing is almost kufr. And this is something that you learn from this hadith. Never and never and never and never make a judgment before you listen to both sides. And never. And people, they will tell you, Wallahi, don't lie, I'm telling you the truth. No, I'm not telling you are lying. But when there is dispute, you have to listen to the other side. And this is something that many Muslims, they take it personal, at least with me. But for me, I don't care. I said, well, I have to listen to the other side. Oh, you don't trust me? That's not about trusting. You will not say this to a judge in the court here. You will not say that. The judge will not listen to you by yourself anyway. There is a date for the court and both of you have to come in front of him or her. So what the Prophet did, which is our example, he called the husband and he said, well, here is the grievances against you. What's your side of the story? Then he said, Ya Rasulullah, when she prays, she make it long and she reads 2 surahs. Then the Prophet ﷺ gave the advice and he said 1 surah is enough. Then as far as fasting, I am a young man and I can't be patient to be intimate. I'm young. And we are talking about voluntary fasting, not Ramadan, because Ramadan he should be fasting himself also. Then the Prophet said it's haram for a woman to fast while her husband is resident, he's not traveling or something without his permission. And I know this hadith will be hard for people without iman, but that's it, the Prophet ﷺ saying that. And when you don't fast and you take permission, and before I continue, why you are fasting as sister, as woman, why you are fasting, voluntary fasting? Because you want the reward. By taking permission from your husband, and if he says no, don't fast, you will have more reward than fasting. So please pay attention. And number 3, which is the question, as far as he doesn't wake up for Fajr, he said, Ya Rasulullah, that is a problem that we have in our family. We cannot wake up for Fajr, whatever we do. So here is like sickness or this. That is not an excuse for people not to put the alarm, not to help somebody to wake them up and so on. So it runs in their family. Then the Prophet ﷺ told him, whenever you wake up, the first moment you wake up, you should pray. And this is like what he gives in another hadith. When somebody forget a prayer or he overslept, he should pray it immediately when he remember or when he wake up. There are 2 versions. And when you pray it at that time, that is not qada. You are not making it up. No, you are praying it on time. Even if it's after Fajr. Because that is your time for you. And this is one of the mistakes people, they do. When they wake up after sunrise and they didn't pray Fajr, well, he said, well, I'm late anyway. Then they go and take their breakfast and take shower and do whatever, then pray Fajr. No. Immediately make wudu and pray. And you pray it on time. Because you have an excuse. And this is excuse based on what I said. Not somebody who doesn't do alarm, not somebody who doesn't go to bed early, not. If you don't take precautions and you don't wake up, you are responsible, you are committing a sin. Because you have to take, like when you have an appointment with some, or an interview, or a job, whatever, you know what you do. I still remember one brother, when he used to have the exam, a student from overseas, he used to call his family overseas to wake him up on this time because he doesn't want to miss the exam. But if you do all this and you didn't wake up, subhanallah, whenever you wake up, the first moment, make wudu, pray your sunnah, and pray fajr, inshallah. A person gave zakat and sadaqah. Later he found he had not calculated zakat correctly, and he owed more money in zakat. Can he count some of his sadaqah as zakat? No. Because zakat, you need the intention in the moment of giving. If you give $1 million random like this, but you don't have the intention of zakat, you cannot come today later on and say, I'm going to count it as my zakat. No. So in this case, you have to calculate how much you owe because you made a mistake and you pay it. Alhamdulillah, there is no penalty. What kind of actions by kids are considered to be عقوق الوالدين? عقوق الوالدين mean treating your parents badly, you don't this. عقوق mean you severe, you don't give them their right. Well, this is very serious matter. May Allah forgive all of us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He give you the standard. And He said the smallest action that sometimes we do without even paying attention, He said don't do it. وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفْ. Do not say off. You know, sometimes when they ask you something, off. That is haram. If that is haram, anything else is haram. Shouting at them, screaming at them, insulting them, disrespecting them. When they are talking, especially when they are old, and there is family or there is guest, and you feel that you are embarrassed, and you start telling them, keep quiet, just keep quiet. Or you're looking at them with a face that make them feel embarrassed. All this is haram. No. Does not mean that you don't engage in serious dialogue with them, but with respect, without raising your voice, and without staring at them. Because that is very serious matter. May Allah forgive all of us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He give you the standards. Off is haram. Wala, do not say off to them. And off is the word that comes out of our mouth when we are not that angry, we are just a little bit not comfortable. وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. So may Allah help us to give them their right, and may Allah help us to be kind and patient with them, inshallah. The way they were with us when we were young. You don't look at them, and maybe you are parents. How you treat your kids, mashallah, if you are the right parents, that is how they treated you. So now they are old, and that's why when you have parents that they are old, really this is, if you are lucky and if you know what you are doing, that is a card to Al-Jannah for you, mashallah. What should we say, or what will be our response to the people of the book who invites us to their religion? How should we rather invite them to Islam? Yeah, you can involve in dialogue, I believe in dialogue or even debate. But as I said, with proofs and facts, without being reactive, without taking it personal. And really, there is nothing that they can invite you to. Really, really. But don't make fun of them and mock them. But you can debate with them, as I said. One of the way that I respond in the beginning, I said, well, thank you so much. Really, I care because you care about me. You want to save me. But you have something that comes before what I have. I have the latest version. And always I joke with them. I said, as far as phone, everybody wants the latest. And here is the latest what I have. Then from there, you can go. And also maybe before you do that, you thank the person because really he cares about you according to him or her. Say, thank you so much for caring because you want to save me. By the way, what's your religious background? You have to know where he's coming from. What kind of denomination? Because they are not the same. A Jehovah's Witness is not an evangelical, is not this or that. They are different. And also you listen to the person because there are some of them that they have no clue what they are talking about. They just like to argue and they are paid to do that, by the way. And there are some that they have some background about their religion and about Islam. And if you see yourself that what he said you cannot answer, you can tell him, please, that is not my specialty. I can take you to somebody that you can talk to, or give me your number, I'll let them talk to you, and we will take care of that, inshallah. Helping a friend to pay off high his interest, credit card bill. Does this count as zakat? How far should we investigate about legitimacy before we help financial? So it doesn't have to be high interest or low interest. It's somebody who owns money to others. If this person really owns this money because he tries his best and he was put in circumstances that he has no choice and so on, yeah, he is one of the recipients of zakat. But if somebody that you know he doesn't care or this and that, maybe look for somebody else who deserves it. The other part of the question, how far should we investigate about legitimacy before we help financially? You try your best, inshallah. And after that, you can, if you don't know the person very well, you can tell them the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that zakah is haram for anybody to take unless he falls in the categories. Because taking zakat and you are not eligible for it, you are taking the rights of others. You can even say that because you want to free yourself from the responsibility. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ can use to do. He'll look at the person and the person is healthy, he can work. Then the Prophet will tell him, if you want, I will give you. But zakat is only for the people. And he gave them the categories. Somebody really who works hard and so on, and his income is not enough. Or somebody that he has a business and he lost it, all of it. So you can say that, and there is nothing wrong with that. Because you want to be sure that your zakat is in the right hand. Can women wear heels in public? Wearing heels is not a problem. But the problem is the sound, the noise, that sometimes, especially in the masjid, because sister coming, tak, 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 tak. People start attracting. And anything that attracts others and so on, it becomes fitna, it becomes haram. So the heel in itself is not haram, but as I said, is the noise that can attract the people. And compared to the heels are the perfumes. If the woman wears perfumes and goes outside, and the Prophet ﷺ said men can smell that perfumes, what he said is very serious about this woman. And this is as metaphor, and to make it serious does not mean she practiced the haram that he mentioned in the hadith, but it's very serious matter. So anything that can attract, and this applies to the man, always we think is the woman. No. A brother who comes to the masjid and so on with a shirt that is open till here and his chest is, anybody can see it, hair and everything. That is also fitna for women and so on. So anything that can attract others and cause fitna, it becomes haram, that we need to pay attention to it, inshallah. I think we are done. Let's see. Okay, there is no more questions. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us. If I say anything right, is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I say anything wrong, is from me and shaitan. Allah has nothing to do with it. And as I said, please, always written question, the answer is general. If you think I didn't give right to your question, or you need more elaboration, you can contact me inshallah, and we can go from there. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا أبدا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا إلى النار مصيرنا ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك فينا ولا يرحمنا اللهم ارفع مقتك وغضبك عنا ولا تهلكنا بما فعل السفهاء منا اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين واعل بفضلك كلمتي الحق والدين اللهم ول على المسلمين خيارهم وقو شوكتهم ووحد كلمتهم وردهم ونحن معهم إلى دينك مردا جميلا واحفظ بلادهم واجعلها بلادا آمنة مطمئنة يا رب العالمين اللهم أطلق سراح المسجونين وفرج هم المهمومين ونفس كرب المكروبين واقض الدين عن المدينين وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين واشفنا واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين اللهم ارفع عنا هذا الوباء اللهم ارفع عنا هذا الوباء اللهم ارفع عنا وعن المسلمين الأمراض والأسقام والأوجاع والأوبئة والأمراض القاتلة والأمراض المزمنة اللهم عافنا والمسلمين في أبداننا وأسماعنا وأبصارنا اللهم الطف بنا فيما جرت به المقادير اللهم الطف بنا فيما جرت به المقادير اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وشفاء من كل داء اللهم حبب لنا فعل الخيرات وترك المنكرات وحب المساكين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد